Matthew Wright, Ramsey personality, joins us as our co-host today here on the Dave Ramsey Show. Rebecca is next, and Rebecca's in California. Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, my gosh. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my call.
Welcome. Sure. How can we help?
I'm calling because my husband shows up last week from work, and he says that he wants to buy a $5,000 gun. we just got out of debt. We handed in the fleeces. We purchased our first car cash, and we are stocking up money, piling up money to buy a house. And I'm the dream killer now because he thinks that he should be able to buy this $5,000 gun. So I just wanted to get both of your point of view on this.
So you're out of debt, you have your emergency fund, and you would have the $5,000 beyond that, but it would come out of your down payment fund for your house. Am I understanding you right?
Correct. Yep. We have about $72,000 saved, but we live in California, so it costs a lot to buy a house here. Mm-hmm. So that's just scratching the surface of buying a house. We probably need to save more along the lines of $150 for a 20% down on a home here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your household income?
We make about $145,000 a year between my husband and I.
And is there anything unique about this particular purchase?
I mean, it's a custom gun, and he's sort of new to it all. He has a few that he's purchased, but I mean, we've been like gazelle intense for the past year and a half, and so I'm feeling a little like, hey, that's a little unfair. You get to buy a $5,000 gun. What about my $5,000 bag? Or, we've really been gazelle intense these past years. So it just seemed kind of off to buy a $5,000 gun. We're still in the middle of trying to buy a house. So.
Right. Well, you're at the stage that you would buy items if you wanted to. But it's just so fresh off the back of the debt snowball that it feels weird, I'm sure.
It does.
So I think if you came in and said, I want to buy a $5,000 Louis Vuitton, he might have a double backflip.
Would he?
I think so. I mean, so I posed it back to him and I said, well, what about, I'm not a bad person. I'm a bad gal. I just want to, I really want a house. That's really what I want. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you're setting back our goals by you wanting to buy this gun. I mean, we could probably save $5,000 in 2 months and cash flow the gun.
You have the $5,000 now. It would just, you'd put it back in the $72,000, right?
We do. We do.
So that's not the issue, but the issue is just a matter of priorities. Which one comes? So here's what Sharon and I learned. We decided it's not no, it's just which one comes first. Mm-hmm. So we got in an argument like this about the time we were at the same place you were. She was driving a god-awful, nasty old blue Astro van with 900 million miles on it. You know, the two-tone blue ones? Like redneck ugly. You know what I'm talking about. And if you're driving one out there, I'm sorry, but it were redneck ugly when we had one too. So, and it was newer back then. So she's driving that and she wants to upgrade to a Suburban. She's got a house full of kids. And, we're off the back end of this bankruptcy stuff. We're starting to make some money. And I'm like, $20,000 or whatever the stinking thing was. I can do a lot of work at the office for that. And I was wanting to do some investing in stuff here at Ramsey. And she's wanting to buy this car. And so, we got in this big thing about it. And what we finally sat down and figured out was it's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
And so she got the car first. And then as soon as that was done, then I got to do the investing at the office. But it wasn't like we said, you can do one but can't do the other.
Right.
Or there's something evil or wrong about buying a $5,000 gun. That would be really hypocritical on my part because I own several. But the one I carry on my hip is about that. So, but so I mean, I'm sympathetic with him, but I'm also sympathetic with you. And I will tell you, sometimes when I get a $5,000 gun, it does cost me a Louis Vuitton occasionally. But
it's a deal you make.
it's a good trade-off. But that's way late in the baby step 7 game, right? So I think you guys just need to talk through. Are you're willing to wait on other luxury purchases to get the house? This is a luxury purchase, is all it is, and which buying in and of itself is not evil.
Rebecca, is he the spender?
He is the spender. He loves to spend, and I've sort of been he was the one with the leases and all the debt and all the stuff. So
yeah. So the reason I asked that,
I'm like, oh, you're going back. You're going back to where.
Yeah.
We
well,
were.
it's because you have a little bit of money, and I'll tell you, I'm the spender in my marriage. And as soon as we had our emergency fund and started to save up some money, when you have a little money, if you're the spender, you're like, but I got it. What's the big deal? Like, it's very tempting to get more careless because you have a little bit. And like Dave said, this purchase is not evil. It's not a bad thing. But I think for him, he's looking at this savings account going, well, I've got the money. What's the big deal? But you're looking at it from a goals perspective, priority. I wonder if there's almost a compromise too, kind of like Dave said, not the necessary bag for gun trade right now, but does it have to be nothing or a $5,000 gun, or could he get excited? You said he's new to guns. Maybe he could get a $500 gun. There's cool guns for $500 or $900 that wouldn't set you back so much. That would scratch that itch of him
he's
spending
already got
some
some
fun.
of those.
I wonder if there's a middle
That might
ground.
work. Nah. Wah, wah, wah.
If not, then I think you have the conversation about, like you said, what comes first in priorities. Because to you, you're looking at it as this is going to set you back, but he's looking at it like, hey, we've got the money. What's the big deal?
Here's the good part of the whole discussion. A, you're discussing it. B, you're going to pay cash for whatever you do, and you're going to be in agreement. If you can continue on that pattern, you will be successful with money, regardless. Mm-hmm. And so it could be that you're saying that, I'd like to go on a $5,000 trip. Well, that would be okay, and delay the house down payment by $5,000. That would be okay too. That's back when people traveled. You remember those days. And so I would say cruise, but we would all laugh out loud right now. And so, but as an example, you could spend that $5,000 a lot of different ways, but in any of those cases, it would be okay, but you're choosing to delay your house by that little bit amount when you do that. So one last idea is I would either say wait until after the house, but maybe you just say, when we get to, we're at 72 now, we need 150 is our goal. When we get to X, between now and 150, maybe we stop there and you have a splurge and he has a splurge, and then we re-engage the house thing or something like that. Maybe there's a couch that you want to buy. I don't know, whatever it is, because none of those things at your stage are out of line with what we teach. They're wise purchases. They're fine purchases. It's just a matter of what you want. What you said, Christy's exactly right. What do you want? What does he want? And the good news is we talk about it. And certainly on an expensive thing like that.
It's good to know who's the saver and spender, though, because when I went back to my marriage, Matt and I'm the spender, he's the saver. If Matt came to me and said, I want to buy a $5,000 gun, I wouldn't even question that purchase because he never wants to spend money. It's such a big deal when he does that's such a out of character thing. It's such an exciting thing. Like, yeah, what's this purchase? Let's make sure we've got the savings and so on. But for me, I have to know my temptation, which is usually to rein it in because I'm the spender. So for you to know
that's a good part of the discussion too.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to say out loud. Look, I'm the tightwad, and so I'm the no person, the dream killer. I don't want to be that person, but you also don't want to be the spender that runs us back into the hole we just got out of.
Yeah. Because
a lot of those purchases were you, and when you bring this pattern to me, it scares me.
Yeah.
And that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah, to know what your weak spots are.
Yeah. And so, Sharon and I have had those discussions because I'm the spender. Mm-hmm. And she would say, when you're doing this or acting this way, it's reminding me of back when we went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And it opens up that wound.
Yeah.
And so just have that discussion. Just talk about it out loud. Then you can walk through and come up with plans to get some stuff. Whether it's a couch, a gun, a purse, a trip, I don't care, or a house. All of those things are proper. There's not like you're an absolute idiot for doing one of those others. It's not. This is the stage that you would do those things at, but only when you both feel good about it. And honestly, Rebecca, you might be more concerned about his pattern of spending than you are this actual purchase. It might be bothering that it's looking like it did before, like it did with Sharon. So good discussion. Thank you for calling in.